Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with William D. Fenns getting caught in traffic in Los Angeles on a hot day. On the bus next to him, children are screaming. His car's air conditioner is also broken. He gradually runs out of patience. He exits the car and begins to walk down the street. Someone asks from behind his car, "Where is he headed?" He responds, "Going home," and leaves. Then a traffic police officer comes to the place. He asks about the problem. That person says what happened, and Prendergast, a police officer retiring today. The three together push the vehicle to the side. William then goes to a phone booth and calls his ex-wife. Today is his daughter's birthday. She answers the phone, but William stays silent on the phone. Looking at the coins in his hand, he cuts the phone, goes to a nearby shop, and asks for change there. The shop owner tells him to buy something, then only he can get the change. When William comes up to the counter with a can of Coke, and learns it costs 85 cents, rather than the 50 he was hoping. He proceeds to argue with Mr. Lee. Lee becomes irritated with William. The owner grabs a baseball bat and demands William to leave. William takes the bat and destroys the merchandise sold at more than fair prices. After all this, he pays for the Coke and leaves. Elsewhere, today is the last day of Prendergast, so his workmates advise him to be careful. They also tell him today they are celebrating his retirement. Then his wife calls him and tells him to be safe, and come home soon with tears. He is holding a photo of a child, which might be his daughter. William then goes to the phone booth and tries to contact his ex-wife. But the line is busy, so he hangs up and leaves. He climbs a hill in gangland, an area rife with Hispanic gang activity. He is sitting there looking at the hole in his shoe. Then two guys approach and tell him this is a private place, and no one should come here. But he says, "I wouldn't have come here if I knew it's a private place." He asks them to let him go. But they demand money from William, but William refuses that he can't pay. They threaten him with a knife and try to steal the suitcase. William takes the bat behind his suit, beats both of them, and chases them away. Mr. Lee goes to the police station to meet Prendergast and complain about the man wearing a white shirt and tie destroying his shop. The gang members vow revenge, and a carload with many firearms, including automatic weapons, is soon out hunting for William. William calls his ex-wife again, and has a forceful and angry conversation with her. He conveys his intent to come to his daughter's birthday party, no matter what she has to say about it. Upon hanging up the phone, the gang attempt a drive-by shooting, but miss William, hitting others, killing or wounding several people, and crashing their car in their escape attempt. William merely stood by, acting as if nothing was happening around him. He walks over to the crashed car of the killers. William picks up the machine gun of the surviving man and begins to taunt him, and admonishes them for missing him. After which, he shoots him in the leg, telling him how easy it was, and walks off with a gym bag full of weapons. His ex-wife has already called the police, and complains about William. A court has ordered him not to come within 100 meters of her house. He then attempts to board a bus along the way, eyeing various homeless people and people of other races. As he's pushed back from the crowd of people attempting to board the bus, he chooses to walk. He's followed by a poor man who attempts to ask money out of him by feeding him a fake story, which only irritates him. William finally acquiesces to this man's declaration that he somehow owes him money by handing him his briefcase. After which, we learn that all he had within it was a poultry lunch, consisting of a small sandwich and an apple. Without lunch, he heads to the local Whammy Burger for a delicious breakfast. Still, he's only met with more disappointment, when the cashier and manager refuse him his breakfast because it's already past 11:30. He takes his machine gun and asks for breakfast. Everyone is scared and try to run away, but he orders them to sit down and enjoy their food. When he touches the trigger, the gun sprays the bullets and people are so scared. But he explains the gun is sensitive. Looking around, he receives a small burger, but again he is disappointed, and complains that the burger is so prominent in menu, but he receives like a waste food from yesterday. He resumes his journey towards his ex-wife's house, stopping along his way to purchase a musical unicorn and snow globe as a present for his daughter, and further down the way, he attempts to call his ex-wife. Once again, finding only a busy line, after which he's confronted by an angry man waiting to use the phone booth, and to teach him a lesson in patience, he shoots the booth with the machine gun. He then looks to replace his worn-out shoes. He enters an army surplus store, run by a neo-Nazi racist. He recognizes William. He abuses the homophobic there, and they get outraged, leaving the place quietly. He says to William the first don't like people like that. William tries the shoes in the trial room. A female police officer comes to the place, and asks about a man in a white shirt and tie. The man slowly closes the screen of the trial room where William is sitting, and says that no one comes here like that. After the police officer leaves, William asks, "Why did you save me?" He takes William to a secret room. He hides many items from the Nazis, including a stash of war memorabilia and a rocket launcher. Once he discovers that, this man believes he and William are allies. Again, he gets offended at being lumped into a group he doesn't believe himself to be part of, and a violent confrontation ensues. When this man learns of William's opposition to him, he threatens him with the police, which causes William to stab this man to get away from him. However, he takes it a step further by giving him a lesson. He shoots and kills the man. He once again calls his ex-wife and informs her that he's still on the way, and that he's past the point of no return, likening his mission to that of stranded astronauts, ending the conversation by remarking that in some South American countries, it's still legal to kill your wife. Elsewhere, Prendergast and his assistant Sandra begin their investigation. They go to Mr. Lee's shop and investigate deeply. When Prendergast notices the hill, he goes there. When he looks from that hill, he can see the road where he was stuck in a traffic jam in the morning. Then he realizes that the person who left his car in the middle of the road in the morning is responsible for these problems. He finds out who the car belonged to by looking at the word defense written on the car's number plate. Now William comes across a traffic jam in front of a construction site, much like the one he had found earlier. He knocks out a man shouting at the other commuters. As he walks down the street, he challenges one of the construction workers to tell him what they're fixing on the street. He claims he drove the street 2 days ago, and it was in good condition then, stating that they're only working on the road to meet their monthly quota, and to keep the construction companies from holding him and the rest of the upstanding citizens hostage. He decides he will launch a rocket at their truck. Instead, he misfires and sends it under the road through the sewers, blowing up a crane once it reaches its destination. Elsewhere, the police officer goes to William's house. They meet his mother, and discover that William is a missile maker for the government. But he lost his job months ago. William's mother is shocked, because for about a month, William is pretending to go to his regular job. Meanwhile, William jumps over another fence and into a golf field. William's rampage is an older man, who tries to shoo him from his golf course by hitting a ball at him. And in response, he rants to him about how all the acreage of their course is being used to entertain a few silly old men. He shoots the golf cart, which causes a heart attack for the old man, and his heart medication is in that golf cart. He jokes at that. He jumps another fence, finding the backyard of a beautiful manor, where a family is enjoying a barbecue, a family he discovers are not the tenants of the home, but rather the owner's caretakers. Taking them hostage, he's insulted. When he finds out that this mansion is owned by a plastic surgeon, lamenting on how he entered the wrong profession, citing that he's no longer economically viable, a relic of the past. And he then becomes offended once again when the patriarch of this family dares to suggest that he might hurt his family. Then, he gets scared seeing the blood on the child's hand and realizes it is his blood. The man in the family says, "Keep me hostage, but leave my family." William says, "I won't hurt you," and William leaves the place. William's ex-wife calls the police again, to report her fears about William. Then William calls his ex-wife and tells her he has come to the ice cream parlor near the house. His wife realizes that William is coming nearby, and immediately, she picks up her daughter and runs away from the house. Understanding this, William also immediately runs towards his house, and finds no one there, and his ex-wife has already fled. Then he takes the DVD from there, and plays the memories of spending time with his family. Then, Prendergast and Sandra arrive at that house. She goes through the back door with a gun, but Prendergast realizes he doesn't have a gun. Hearing a sound, William gets ready inside with a gun. Suddenly Prendergast hears a shooting sound. When he goes there, Sandra falls down with a bullet in her waist. William flees from the spot, and Prendergast calls an ambulance immediately, and grabs her weapon and chases William onto a fishing pier. Finally, William catches his family and hugs his daughter, but his wife is scared of seeing him with a gun. When Prendergast approaches William, his wife grabs his gun and moves away. Prendergast confronts William, and hears his rant about feeling deceived by society. Annoyed by this criminal's pettiness and immature complaints, Prendergast tells William that everyone faces that kind of deception in life, but that is no excuse for the fact that he has been terrorizing people with violent felonies that day. Despondent at finding himself in the wrong all along, William claims he has a gun, and invites him for a gunfight. With nothing left for him, William tricks Prendergast. He slowly moves his hand closer to his pocket. Prendergast advises not to do this. Suddenly both of them shot at each other, revealing that William shot only using a water gun. Prendergast wipes the water from his face. William says, "I won this match," and falls into the ocean and dies. Prendergast sits next to William's daughter in the final scene, and comforts her. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel.